Bentornati alle conversazioni, benvenuti al terzo volume di Writers on Writers. Gli ospiti di questa settimana sono Ford Coppola, che leggerà un brano da Stefan Zweig, e Marisa Silver e Nicole Krauss, che leggeranno da Rainer Maria Rilke. Nel finale del volume leggerò un brano che ci ha scritto appositamente per noi per le conversazioni Jonathan Franzen.
From Stefan Zweig, The World of Yesterday. At the turn of the century, 40 years of peace had strengthened the economic organism of the nations. Technical science had given wings to the rhythm of life, and scientific discoveries had made the spirit of that generation proud. There was sudden upsurge, which could be felt almost in identical measures of all countries of Europe. France was puffed up with wealth. It wanted yet more. Italy wanted Cyrenaica. Austria annexed Bosnia, Serbia and Bulgaria pushed towards Turkey, and Germany, still excluded for the time being, raised its paw for an angry blow. Every state suddenly had the feeling of being strong and forgot that every other state had the same feeling, each wanting more and wanted something from the other. The French industrialists, with their big profits, agitated against the Germans, who were fattening no less. The Hamburg shipping interests, with their huge dividends, worked against those of Southampton, and the Hungarian agriculturists against the Serbians, one corporation against another. Calmly reflecting on the past, if one asks why Europe went to war in 1914, neither reasonable ground nor even provocation can be found. It had nothing to do with ideas and hardly with petty frontiers. I cannot explain it otherwise than by this surplus of force, a tragic consequence of the internal dynamism that had accumulated in those 40 years of peace and now sought violent release. Stefan Zweig. War is unnecessary.
Hi, my name is Marisa Silver, and I'm going to read You Who Never Arrived by Rilke. You who never arrived in my arms, beloved who were lost from the start, I don't even know what songs would please you. I have given up trying to recognize you in the surging wave of the next moment. All the immense images in me, the far-off, deeply felt landscape, cities, towers, and bridges, and unsuspected turns in the path, and those powerful lands that were once pulsing with the life of the gods, all rise within me to mean you, who forever elude me. You, beloved, who are all the gardens I have ever gazed at, longing, an open window in a country house, and you almost stepped out, pensive, to meet me. Streets that I chanced upon, and you had just walked down them and vanished. And sometimes, in a shop, the mirrors were still dizzy with your presence, and startled gave back my too sudden image. Who knows, perhaps the same bird echoed through both of us yesterday, separate in the evening. Thanks.
I'm Nicole Krauss. I'm going to read a short passage from a prose work by the poet Rilke. It's called The Notebooks of Malte Laurids Brigge. Have I said it before? I'm learning to see. Yes, I'm beginning. It still goes badly, but I intend to make the most of my time. To think, for instance, that I have never been aware before of how many faces there are. There are quantities of human beings, but there are many more faces, for each person has several. There are people who wear the same face for years. Naturally, it wears out, it gets dirty, it splits at the folds, it stretches, like gloves one has worn on a journey. These are thrifty, simple people. They do not change their face, they never even have it cleaned. It is good enough, they say, and who can prove to them the contrary? The question, of course, arises, since they have several faces, what do they do with the others? They store them up. Their children will wear them. But sometimes, too, it happens that their dogs go out with them on. And why not? A face is a face. Other people put their faces on, one after the other, with uncanny rapidity and wear them out. At first, it seems to them they are provided for always, but they scarcely reach 40, and they have come to the last. This naturally has something tragic. They are not accustomed to taking care of faces. Their last is worn through in a week, has holes, and in many places as thin as paper. And then little by little, the underlayer, the no face, comes through, and they go about in that.
Come vi dicevo, Jonathan Franzen ci ha mandato un testo nel quale parla di Assalonne e Assalonne di William Faulkner. Ve lo leggo. È il momento giusto per staccarci dagli schermi e dedicarci in modo intenso alla lettura. Il mio consiglio per gli amici delle conversazioni è Assalonne, Assalonne di William Faulkner. Faulkner ha messo in questo libro più di quanto tanti altri autori non abbiano messo nella loro intera produzione. Non si tratta solo di una brillante indagine sulla mente di uno schiavista e un razzista. Non è solo un trionfo di alto modernismo, fatto di prospettive e archi temporali immutevoli. Non è solo una tragica storia d'amore, carica di riferimenti biblici e classici. Né solo il romanzo, che meglio di qualsiasi altro coglie perfettamente la storia del sud americano dopo il 1865. Non è solo un libro che si legge tutto d'un fiato, scritto in una prosa magnifica, ma anche la migliore dimostrazione di come si costruiscano le storie e del perché la narrazione sia così importante.